Okay, hi, welcome to Guitar Emerge. Today, I'll be giving you a few ideas that you can learn how to solo over a simple chord progressions. These ideas are there so that you can open up more avenues or creativity to help you make your solo more pleasant or palatable. So if you remember from the previous video, there are 3 things that we need to know before we can start doing a solo. So the first thing we need to know is the chord progression, what chord comes after. And then the second thing that we need to know will be the notes that make up a chord. And lastly, landing in the safe zone. So the notes that make up your chord and the safe zone are actually the same thing. When you play the notes that make up your chord, you make them safe. Okay, so remember these 3 things? So I'll be giving you some ideas that you can try over this. So today we will use 2 chords, G and A minor, to play your solo over. So this is your chord progression, the first thing that we need to know, G and A minor. And then the second thing and the third thing that we need to know, which is your notes that make up the chord and the safe zone. Okay, are these 3 notes that makes up your chord. So every major and minor chord follows this formula known as the first, the third, and the fifth. These 3 notes make up your chord. For the major chord, it will be 1, 3, and 5. For the minor chord, it will be the first, but you flat the third, so it will be known as the flat third, or the minor third, and the fifth. On the guitar, we will be using G major, and these 3 notes are what makes up your chord. Okay, so your G major chord is made up of G, B, and D. This is where it is on the first string. So if I were to put my first finger, if I were to put my finger on the 3rd fret of the first string, that would give me G. And then if I were to go to the 7th fret, that would give me B. And the 10th fret, that would give me D. For A minor, the 3 notes that make up your chord is A, C, and E. On the guitar, it starts from the 5th fret of the first string to the 8th fret and the 12th fret. Now to make it simpler for you so that you can understand, not so many frets around. Okay, we have actually developed a short formula for you to remember. So for your major chords, okay, you can remember it as adding 4 and adding 3. Okay, so what I mean by that is, okay, if we start with G, all you need to do is to add 4 frets up. You will get your third already. So you have G, 1, 2, 3, 4. You will end on the 7th fret, which is the B note. And now if we add 3, 1, 2, 3, you end on the 10th fret, which is your D note. For the minor chord, you actually reverse the order. So you add 3 frets first, then you add 4 frets. So on the guitar, it will look like that. Start on the 5th fret, that will give me A. I add 3 frets, 1, 2, 3. I end up on the 8th fret, and that will give me C. Now I have to add 4 frets to give me the 5th, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. I end up on the 12th fret. So these are the 3 notes that make up your G major chord and the A minor chord. Let me show you how it sounds like. So over G major, this is how it sounds like. Okay, for A minor, this is how your 3 notes sounds like. So very quickly, the first way that we can use, right, to help you compose a good solo or help you land in the safe zone, okay, is using your 3 notes, the first, the third, and the 5th. I will be using a short backing track made out of only G and A minor, like I said before, and using just the first or the root note. This is how it sounds like. So the first or the 3rd fret and the 5th fret. Okay, so that was the first of the G major chord and the first of the A minor chord on the 3rd fret and on the 5th fret. Okay, next I will show you using the 3rd, which is found on the 7th and the 8th fret. Okay, so this is how it sounds like. So that was the third. Now we go on to the fifth. On the fifth, we will start with the 10th and then to the 12th fret. So again, over the same backing track, this is how it sounds like. Okay, so now I'm going to play them all together so you can have a listen of how they all sound like together. And this is the first, the third, and the fifth. And we end on the first. Okay, so that was a glimpse of the 1-3-5 in practically, but that's of course it's a basic concept, it's a basic idea that we should all start with but not end with. So this is another way that you can now make your solo or your note slightly more interesting, slightly more melodic. Okay, so I'm going to mix them up. Basically what I will do are these notes. Okay, so on the guitar I'll start on the 7th fret and then I'll move up to the 12th. Okay, I'll go down to the 10th and then the 8th. So this melody is somewhat more interesting than what you heard just now. So over the backing track, G and A minor, it will sound like that. Okay, so if you find that was a bit too simple, you can actually change the rhythmic pattern of it. You can actually make it more interesting so that your notes have a little bit more character. Yeah, so we can play on the offbeat. You can choose to play on the offbeat. What offbeat means is that you don't play on the main beat. Your main beats are 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you play on the offbeat, you are playing on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So a demonstration will sound like that. Okay, so that was how the EDM feel sounds like or playing on the offbeat, which is frequently used in EDM music. Something else that you can also do is to make it a little bit funkier. So you add a bit more rhythmic interest to it now. Okay, so using this again the same notes and the same backing track, this is how you can inject different ideas to it. This is one. And so these are some ways that you can do it. What I've just covered are using the 1-3-5, your notes that make up the chord, also known as the safe zone. Yeah, and what we did was using the horizontal movement, moving horizontally along your fretboard to create that kind of feel. And again, before I end it, okay, the formula to help you see a pattern to your major and minor chords are this. So for a major chord, you add 4 frets up, and then you add 3 frets up, or just simply plus 4 plus 3. For a minor chord, you add 3 frets up first, and then you add 4 frets. Simply plus 3 plus 4, just the reverse of it. Okay, I hope that I've inspired you some ideas that you can try on your own, you can experiment on your own. This is just one way you can do it, just using the first string. You also try on other strings, and some other ways to mix them up if you like. No, that's all I have. Yeah, thanks for watching.